Come on down, Mitch. He's going
That's not loud enough, let's go! Okay, that, I don't know if I'm allowed to swear, but that was shithouse. Everyone on your feet, let's go. Everyone on your feet, up we go. Let's go, up we go, up we go. There we go. There we go. It's Saturday night, it's 8 o'clock, we're having dinner with friends, we're ready to go. Round of applause, let's go everyone. Sit down, you bunch of hooligans. Come on, it's time to learn how to party. Okay, maybe not, alright? Maybe not. G'day, my name's Mitch. I've got a bachelor of drinking beers and having good times. Not so much, no. I did go to uni when I was younger, but a little bit about me before I get into it. I started washing dishes when I was 10 in my uncle's restaurant. I was a waiter, a bartender. I studied broadcasting and was on the radio for a while, hence why I kind of like talking and I'm pretty comfortable in front of a crowd. And hospitality was always an industry that I was engaged in, whether it was restaurants, nightclubs, sometimes coffee shops early in the morning, which is not my forte, getting up very early. And now I find myself at the ripe old age of 34, licensee of a wondrous, magnificent place called Beer Deluxe Albury, otherwise known as Paddy's. Correct. Maybe it'll be known as that one day again, who knows. So yeah, hands up if you have been to the pub. There. That's fun because I saw one person who I know for a fact has been to the pub because I saw them there a few weeks ago and they didn't put their hand up. But anyway, I'll have a chat with her later because maybe she's not 18, but I hope not. So what I'm here to talk to you about today is the reality of what you're going to face when you get out into the real world and you get into a licensed premises and the behaviour that you're going to display and how that's going to impact other people around you and the behaviour that other people are going to display and how that's going to impact you and your friends. So first and foremost, who's going to uni elsewhere? Who's heading off and going to live their life for the next 12 months? Hands up, who's going and moving somewhere else? Up, nice and tall, right. It's about half, I reckon. Probably more than half, okay? So a lot of what I'm going to talk about today doesn't just apply to if you come to Paddy's or Beer Deluxe on a Saturday night. It actually applies if you go out in Wagga, if you go out in Sydney, or if you go out in Melbourne, Perth, or for that matter, anywhere in Australia. So the main thing that I want to get across to you today is that if something wrong happens when you're out and about in a licensed premises, you need to tell someone about it. You need to tell the staff, the security, the bartender. It doesn't matter. You just got to let them know. Because even though it might seem like a really small thing to you, sometimes that can really snowball and create a much larger situation. And I want to tell you a little bit about that from an incident that occurred no less than a few weeks ago, okay? So it's Friday night, the pub's packed. There's about 600 people in the pub. We can fit about 1,200. We've got 2 dance floors open. We've got an indoor dance floor and an outdoor dance floor. The indoor dance floor is a bit darker, it's a bit dingier, you can't see as much. There's lots of strobe lights, the music's a bit louder because it's indoors, right? Guy walks up to girl, hey, how you going? Right? Come here often? No, he probably doesn't say that, but anyway, girl didn't want a bar of him. You know, no thanks. You know, thanks for saying hi, but nah, don't really want your attention. As you would have learned in that little video there, if you sort of paid attention till maybe about halfway through, alcohol makes people act very differently when they consume it. Particularly young people that haven't had it that much. Me, as a very... Sorry, I'll get that for you, mate. And what we want to see is that you guys are making sure that you're consuming in moderation, that you understand the risks, right? And the example of this guy is he obviously didn't. So he walks up to the girl, the girl's like, nah, no thanks. She felt uncomfortable. She felt slightly harassed. You know, he was pretty physical as far as like probably dancing up on her on the dance floor, grabbed her around the hips, you know, it's kind of nice and tight and everyone's having a good time, but she didn't want it, right? Fast forward 4 hours later, now that guy had obviously consumed a few more drinks, right? He gets onto the dance floor and he comes up behind that girl and he digitally penetrates her. Now what that means is he used a digit, which is a finger, and he inserted it into her body without her obviously consenting to that behaviour. That guy is 20 years old. He's now been charged with sexual assault. He's remanded on bail and he appears in court next week. That girl, her brother actually came to the pub the next night, was involved in a physical violent assault. He was sober. He hadn't slept all night because he was worried about his sister, right? He fell asleep inside the pub. He got woken up by an RSA officer who was being nothing but kind and nice. And he got up, shaped up, and started punching security guards and throwing chairs at me because I was standing in front of him, going, "It's okay, mate, we don't want to hurt you." And he was picking up tables in a rage because his sister had been sexually assaulted the night before. Then the father came down at 2 a.m. with an iPad in a rage, taking photos of all of my staff, my security, of me, accusing me and my staff of doing the wrong thing, when actually we'd done everything right. The only thing that didn't happen was that when that initial incident occurred, we didn't get told about it. So the moral of that story, the learning that I want you to take out of that is no matter how small, medium or large it is, if something's going wrong inside a licensed premises, tell someone. Particularly if you're in Albury and you're at my pub, tell me or tell one of my staff, because you never know what it might be able to prevent down the line. And that's just one example of a litany that I have across my 5 years working at that pub and 15 years working in the industry of incidents that could have been prevented if we knew about it beforehand. The next thing I want to talk to you about is a thing called BarBoss. BarBoss is an accord management system. So the Albury Liquor Accord is about 70 odd venues, restaurants, bottle shops that all band together, that all communicate together, that meet once a quarter to talk about alcohol-related issues in our community in Albury. And BarBoss is the system that we've just implemented to manage that. Now the reason why it's called BarBoss is because you can get a bar, and we are the boss of the bars. So if you stuff up at the pub on Friday and decide to whack some bloke on the dance floor because he called you ugly, we can issue you with what's called a bar from one, bar from all ban. So that means that not only can you not come to Paddy's on a Saturday night, but you can't go to the Blazing Sun for dinner with your family on Friday, you can't go down to the Thai restaurant that's got a liquor licence because they've got membership of the Albury Liquor Accord. You can't go anywhere that's a member of the Albury Liquor Accord for the time that's designated for your bar from one, bar from all ban. And I don't really tell you guys that to scare you because I'm worried about how you're going to behave and the fact that you might get a bar. I tell you that because some of the other people that are out and about, the nasty ones, the violent ones, the ones that are trying to do the wrong thing, we've implemented that so we can try and stop them from displaying that behaviour and we can keep all of you safe and our community safe. So it's important that we get that message out into the community, that you tell your mates, that you tell your friends. I'm sure all of you have got older mates, people that have graduated before you. This is a big change in our community in Albury. We're now communicating and working together as licensed premises because what we want to do is we want to make Albury the destination city and Wodonga for people to come and enjoy themselves socially. We don't want to end up like Sydney was in 2013 when they brought in horrible lockouts and they shut down the Cross and they turned a 24-hour nighttime economy into nothing and it cost millions and millions and millions of dollars and thousands of jobs because people couldn't behave properly. What we want to do is create a space where the feeling that I felt when I walked down and no one clapped for me, I didn't really care to be honest because I knew my plan and I knew I was going to get you all up and I come down and I feel like a rock star. That's how I want all of you to feel when you come to the pub. That's how I want all of you to feel when I give you the information I'm going to give you later, which you're all going to be very happy about. And you come down to the pub and you don't have to line up. And you're a VIP and you feel important. That's how we want every customer to feel. So if you're not feeling that way because of the way a patron's treating you, the way a staff member's treating you, or the way a security member's treating you, you tell someone about it. So, I spoke about that scary incident, right? In that example, that guy was clearly in the wrong, 100%, right? Girl, not so much, not at all. What tends to happen sometimes is like, you've got the same haircut, kind of, as you. And if you're both wearing a black shirt and blue jeans, you pretty much look the same on CCTV camera, right? So sometimes there's a case of mistaken identity. And you might get pulled up by a security guard or a licensee or an RSA officer and go, hey, did you jump the back fence? We've got you on camera. Now, if that's the case and you've done nothing wrong and you've had a few drinks, don't get shirty, don't get angry, don't get sassy. We're just doing our jobs. If you've done nothing wrong, you've got nothing to worry about. All you've got to do is tell the truth. Don't lie about it. Don't try and get yourself out of it, especially if you've done the wrong thing and you get caught. Own up. Own up quickly. Because we're too busy to be worried about 17-year-olds jumping the back fence and calling their parents and getting police down who are already under-resourced. They've got better things to worry about than taking care of kids that are making silly mistakes. So wait until you're 18. If you know that you've got friends that aren't 18 yet, or you know that you've got kids in year 11 that you went to school with this year, tell them they've just got to wait. But if you do get in trouble, please be honest and tell the truth. And if you get asked about something that you haven't done, don't get all up and mighty in my face and like I'm accusing you of murder. That's not the case. I'm just trying to find out what's happened, all right? Another initiative I want to talk about is Ask for Angela. Does anyone know what Ask for Angela is? Young lady, what is Ask for Angela?
I don't know if I'm right about it, but isn't it something you can do if someone's harassing you and you need to get out?
That is exactly right. So Ask for Angela is a campaign where, hey, we're young, we're freaky, we want to go and meet people, maybe give them a kiss. Heaven forbid, we might get married and have babies one day. What also happens is there's these wonderful things called dating apps, right? Where you can get online, and I can take my selfie like this, like I've got a six-pack, and then I get there, and I'm like this, my hair's not done, my teeth are yellow, and you're like, whoa, I don't want to be here anymore. I do not want to be here anymore. So what happens when you meet someone on the internet or on your phone on a dating app and you go, yeah, I'm going to go and I'm going to catch up with them? What happens if you do that in a brand new city you've just moved to where you know no one? No one. You're in the middle of Sydney, in Newtown, at a pub, and you just go, yeah, I'm going to meet up with Levi. Anyone called Levi here? No? Good. Levi's that's definitely a Newtown pub name. You go, you meet up with Levi, Levi's a flog, you don't want to be there anymore. Or, heaven forbid, you're a guy and you meet up with Tracy. Tracy told you she was a 19-year-old absolute banger and she turns out to be a 36-year-old mother of two. Nothing wrong with 36-year-old mothers of two, not saying that. Just saying that you as a freshly graduated 18-year-old, 19-year-old in Sydney might not want to have a catch up with Tracy and share a few beers. So if that happens, all you've got to do is you've just got to walk up to the bar and you've just got to ask for Angela. That's all you have to do. The rest will be taken care of. Now, this campaign is pretty much New South Wales wide, okay? It's also in different areas of the country. If you were to walk up to a bar in Melbourne or anywhere in Victoria, they would know what you're talking about. Just at Beer Deluxe alone, since we launched Ask for Angela, like 3 years ago, I think? We've probably had double figures, like somewhere between 10 and 20, particularly in that initial 6 months. And then I think once word got out, people got a little bit more hesitant about, deciding to meet up with someone that they've never actually met in person before. So it's a great initiative, particularly for somewhere if you're moving to a brand new place and you don't have any friends, and you don't have a lot of contacts and you decide to go meet up with people, then Ask for Angela is a really great initiative that you should be aware of. Similarly, in the Ask for Angela stakes, pretty much the last thing I want to talk to you guys about is the process of what happens inside a licensed premises if there is something that goes wrong. So particularly that case of mistaken identity, right? No matter where you are in the country, in any licensed premises, you have the right to ask to speak to the manager on duty. Not the RSA officer, not the bartender, not some security guard that's got it out for you. the manager on duty. You have a right to ask to speak to them. Okay? If you get refused, then you have every right to call the police and tell the police that, hey, I've asked to speak to them, I've been treated poorly, and they can come down and sort it out. Doesn't tend to happen that way. In the real world, what ends up happening is that if you have had a few drinks and you've got a lot of Dutch courage and you're not really communicating effectively and you're being a bit rude and abrupt, and you're like, I want to speak to the manager, is that how you would do it? No? Would you be nicer about it? Probably. Good. I hope so. Because 9 times out of 10, if you just ask nicely, then the manager will come out, and if you're at Beer Deluxe or Paddy's on a Saturday night, about 45 weeks a year, I know that's a lot of Saturdays that I've got to work, I will be there and I will come and talk to you. So, a couple of things to take out of it. Always let staff, security or management know when something happens that shouldn't happen inside a licensed premises. Even if it's like, if you're on the dance floor and some guy grabs you on the arse and you don't like it, you don't have to put up with that. We don't tolerate that. I don't want those kind of people inside my pub. And I'd be very surprised if there's any other licensed premises, nightclub, pub, bar, that wants that kind of person inside their pub. On the same token, if you're a guy and there's a girl that's giving you the shits, like, don't be afraid to ask for some help. I'd much rather you come and tell us and us like get them out or teach and educate them about what is the appropriate way to behave when you're inside the pub, when you're on the dance floor, when you're lining up for a drink, when you're walking through the pub, when you're at the front door, when you get in the front door. It's everywhere, right? It's like my 3 favourite words: empathy, understanding, compassion. If you take those 3 words and you apply it to everything that you do in your life will be better. A very, very, very smart and knowledgeable person taught me that when I was very young, up and coming. Cocky as all shit, thought I had it all figured out. I was on the radio, I was getting in the taxi at 2 a.m. on a Sunday and I was listening to myself on the radio with the cab driver, thought I was everything. And then I had to learn very quickly. You've got to put your ego to the side. Empathy, understanding, compassion. You're lining up at the bar and I'm in front of you, right? And I turn around and I go bang and I hit you. What's your immediate reaction? Is your immediate reaction, oh, how dare you do that? And then you drop your drink and you start swinging? Or is your immediate reaction, oh wow, I'm at the pub. Maybe that guy's had a couple of drinks, he probably didn't mean it. You know? Maybe I'll go to the bartender and go, oh, this guy just spilt my drink. 9 times out of 10, we'll just shout you another drink. If someone tip your drink over, that's okay, accidents happen. We'll give you another one. If that means that we prevent that reaction from escalating into a physical incident, then that's what I'm talking about getting to the genesis of things before they snowball and before they become something that's larger. Particularly for the guys in the room, physical violence, right? Physical violence is literally like probably what scares me the most about being a licensee, about being in front of people that are affected by drugs, alcohol, and the worst thing of all. What is worse than drugs or alcohol? Can anyone tell me? What is by far worse than drugs or alcohol? Guess? Anyone? Loud. Anyone?
Right.
So crime, violence, sure. Yep.
Dangerous weapons.
Sure. What causes all of that? What's actually the cause of all of that? Sorry? The mind? Sure. What I'm getting at is a thing called emotion. That is the thing that causes all of those things. Yes, drugs and alcohol fuel that, but I refer back to my example about the brother that came to the pub after his sister was sexually assaulted on the Friday. He wasn't fueled by drugs. He wasn't fueled by alcohol. He was fueled by rage, which is an emotion. He was fueled by anger. He wanted retribution. And the only way that he could get it was to come to the place that it happened and to blame us. And to blame me and my security and my staff for something that we could not control. It's really important that when we're dealing with those kind of emotions, we're applying understanding, empathy, compassion. Doesn't matter whether you've had a session, you've had too many drinks, or you've had none. We've got to keep those things in check. And I particularly speak to the guys in the room because the overwhelming majority of physical violence that happens inside licensed premises and on the street is male to male, okay? And it's not okay. I'm 6'3" and 110 kilos. If I punch someone as hard as I can in the side of the head, they are not getting up. I had a guy pull a knife on me 3 weeks ago at the front of the pub. He actually pulled 3 knives. First, he must have gone home and got some double X because he had a butter knife. That wasn't going to do much. He must have been going down to the Siesta for a nice steak after that, because then he pulled a steak knife out. And I was thinking, right, okay, I'm not too worried at this point. And then he put them in one hand and he pulled a hunting knife out of his back thing that was about that big and curved with a wedge on the end of it. And I thought, right, this is getting serious. I need to get the hell out of here now. The reason why that incident occurred is because an hour earlier, when he was removed from the pub, he was hit with one punch by a 50-year-old man who entered the pub at 1:15 and been inside the venue for 20 minutes, who's never been to the pub before. 6'6", 120 kilo guy, one punch, full extension, straight to the jaw. The victim was African, 24 years old, and had a six-pack like I have never seen before in my life. I mean, this guy was Usain Bolt on steroids. And he was knocked unconscious on the ground, right? For about 45 seconds of unconscious, right? For those that know anything about knockouts and that's a very long time to be unconscious. He woke up, he had me in front of him going, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay, surrounded by security guards, freaked out. Up he gets, starts wrestling, starts throwing punches at security guard inside the venue, right? The guy that threw the punch is already outside. He's gone. He's off scot-free. He just whacked the guy because he was dancing in front of him and he didn't like the look of him, and then left. Now, I've got the victim who's up with 4 security guards around him. I've got 20 people with their phones out because the guy's black. And apparently, you know, all security guards are racist. And we just bash people. So we'll get our phones out and start filming. So I get him out the side and I let him go. And so what does he do? He rips off his shirt, gets his 12-pack out, and he starts throwing punches at me. Luckily, a 6'3", 110 kilo guy can dodge a few punches, so I didn't get hit. But it was very scary. And eventually he left with no issues after that, and that was okay. That was a positive outcome of that particular incident for me and my security staff. What wasn't positive is what happened is he lived 2 blocks away, so he went home, he got his old butter knife, he got his steak knife, and he got his hunting knife, and he came back to the front door of the pub at close, and there were 10 security guards at the front door and me standing there, and he come walking past and he started shaping up. So I opened the front doors, I usher all the security guards inside, there's 2 left and me, and then he starts pulling knives on me. Now, that incident, all of that, could have been completely prevented if old mate who was 50 years old had a little bit more understanding, empathy, and compassion. Those are the 3 things that I want you to take out of me babbling on today about the real world, is that it's real. There are terrible people in the world, right? There are horrible people that are always going to do horrible things. But there's also great people in the world. People with good hearts, good minds that want to do the right thing. People might look at me in the job that I have and go, all you do is get people wasted every weekend, 1,200 of them. And all the problems that are caused in Central Albury are from your venue. I can tell you right now that's not the case. Because if they didn't come to my pub, they'd go somewhere else and we'd have the same issue. That's why we proactively work with Albury City, with local licensing police, with the local schools, so we can welcome you guys out into the real world and give you a bit of an understanding of what it's actually going to be like. So, to finish up, who's got their phones on them? Everyone got a phone? I am now going to give you my personal mobile number. If you want to put it in your phone, go for it. If you don't, that's okay. I don't really care, right? But the reason I want to give it to you is because I want you to have the best possible start in your social life, going out and enjoying yourself, particularly in my venue, that you can. And for that matter, anywhere else. Some people in life, they don't have someone they can call. They don't have anyone, you know? You're in the middle of Sydney, you've set ask for Andrew at the bar, no one's doing anything, you're in the toilet, you've got no one to call. Who do you call? You can call me. Go for it. Thousands and thousands of people have my phone number. And the reason why is because I care and I'll do something about it, particularly if it's happened at my pub or any of the pubs that I'm responsible for. So, if you'd like to put my number in your phone, I'll type it up here and I'll leave it up here so you can chuck it in there. And now, before I finish up, does anyone have any questions? Hello?
Do we get t-shirts?
Do you get t-shirts?
Yeah.
Right, so you want me to talk about the brand. Okay, cool.
Would you like a job?
Well, I just like t-shirts.
I wasn't gonna treat it like a recruitment tool guy, but maybe. Do you get t-shirts? Right, there you go. 0409 177 351. That's my phone number. Put it in your phone if you want. Can you get t-shirts? Absolutely you can. Take it easy. Does anyone know what Take It Easy is? Anyone? Nah? Cool, thanks for having me. Take It Easy is our Saturday night brand at the pub. We have DJs, etc. We have merch, t-shirts. I'll make sure you get a t-shirt because you asked for one and you can buy them. Next one.
Quick question. Obviously, you've had the punching, so all the usual. Have you ever had an assault where someone blasts someone?
So not inside Beer Deluxe, since I've started there in the last 5 years. Back in, I think it was 2013, I think, Di, the Albury Liquor Accord, along with licensing police, got together and they implemented some Accord-wide rules. So those rules is that certain venues have licensing restrictions on them, like mine, where we can't serve glass after midnight. So what we do at Beer Deluxe is from about 8:30, 9 o'clock, we stop serving glass and everything's in plastic, which prevents the glassing behaviour. For the venues that don't have those licensing restrictions, just in the last 6 weeks, there has been an increase in that sort of behaviour.
Oh, yeah.
And it's, you know, I had a friend that was glass about 10 years ago, and he's got a big scar down the side here. And if it had been about 10 mil down, it would have clipped this artery here, this vein, and he would have bled out in about 4 minutes. He was very, very lucky. So we don't have a lot of issues with glassings locally because of those licensing restrictions. And a few others that I'll just touch on very quickly is that a lot of venues won't do shots after midnight. We aren't allowed to let anyone in after 1:30 in the morning, so there's a lockout. So you cannot get in. Another one that we have is open containers. So you can't actually be seen on the street drinking alcohol that's open, and you can't consume it in a car or a taxi when you're on the way to the pub. If we see you with open alcohol, we have given the police the undertaking that we will not let you into the pub, okay? Just one thing quickly on shots, right? Who's had a shot before? All right. Was it tequila? Good. Now, that 5-minute video where even I sort of tuned out about halfway through because it's all very scientific and everything, they lost me when they started saying the word sphincter. The reality of alcohol and the types of alcohol. So this is my lived experience. This is what I have experienced myself and what I have seen that has given me the evidence to justify why I say what I'm going to say. And certain alcohol brands and types of alcohol will not like me because I'm going to say it. But please, oh God, do not do shots of tequila. You are 18. I don't know what it is. I haven't done a scientific study. I don't have a bachelor of everything like these people. I just have a decade and a half of seeing people make poor decisions. And a lot of the time, it's because they do shots. Particularly shots of tequila. It was so bad that we actually engaged the police and said, can we have some information around what's causing this increase in sexual assault, in drink spiking? And it was based around the fact that people were drinking tequila too much. So we literally stopped serving shots of tequila at the pub after 9 o'clock. Stopped it. Terrible if you like tequila. I know, broken heart, right? Luckily we have this magical thing called a wet pussy, but anyway, we won't get into that. Tequila, and the other one for me, there's two other points I want to make about the types of alcohol, is red wine, right? So if you don't really drink red wine, and then you decide to go to a thing called winery walkabout, just give me 5 minutes, guys, just give me 5 more minutes and I'll be done. Red wine, okay? You don't drink red wine, there's a thing every year called winery walkabouts on the Queen's or now King's birthday long weekend in June. All the wineries open, there's buses and everyone travels around and everyone drinks wine one time a year, basically. Because a lot of the people that are there don't drink it. Okay, red wine has something in it called tannin, okay? And I'm not going to get into what it does to your asonic sphincter or whatever. But your body does process it a lot differently than, say, a clear spirit like vodka, or something with yeast in it like beer, okay? Particularly if you haven't eaten. If you drink red wine, if you have 2 glasses of red wine and you haven't got anything in your stomach, right? It is a whole nother world. And it's not pleasant. It's not pleasant because when you do that to your body, when you consume things that you don't know how they affect you, and then you're concurrently trying to figure out, what is this feeling? I haven't felt like this before. I kind of feel drunk, but I feel kind of drunk in my head. And I'm losing motor control of like my arms and my feet. And I'm slurring my words, but I've had 2 drinks. I can have 6 Bilson's cans and I feel fine. Yeah, because Bilson's has got carbonated water in it and sugar, and it's 1 standard drink. You have 150 mils of red wine, that's 1.5 standard drinks, which you guys will learn about over here later. It's actually 1.5 standard drinks. And this is not scientific. This is my lived experience. This is just my opinion. You don't have to take this as fact. But 1.5 glasses of red wine may as well be like having 5 shots of vodka. For you, for 18-year-olds that haven't consumed the amount of alcohol that you will across the next 20 years of your life, and you won't build up that tolerance. Tequila, red wine, and then the third thing, mixing your drinks. Oh my God, there's so much choice. I want a Bilson's, I want a vodka lemon soda. Oh my God, Tracy, do you want a pineapple? It's so tasty. Choice is great. Life's all about variety, right? When I started going to the pub when I was 18, right? You'd walk into the pub and it was heavy or light. Heavy beer or light beer. At Beer Deluxe, we have 24 different taps of beer. We have 186 different lines of types of alcohol in cans and bottle that you can drink. Even though we have all of those choices, please don't try to drink them all in one night. And I implore you, pick one and stick to it. So if you want to enjoy a responsible amount of alcohol, enjoy the same type of alcohol for the entire time you are drinking it. Don't be having a Bilson's can in one hand and a shot of Jose Cuervo tequila in the other. I'm getting that vibe from you. You were brokenhearted about the tequila thing. Please stick to the one kind and just have that one type. And then the next time you go out, you want to try something different? Sure, try it then. Particularly the worst decision you can ever make when drinking is to drink one thing at the start until almost the very end, and then the last drink you have is something different. Horrible. It's like a multiplier of hangover level. It literally, I'm telling you this because I've experienced it. I have done all of this. This is my lived experience. And no matter how many times I get an 18-year-old that comes to the front door of the pub and I go, happy birthday. Yes, you can have free entry. You can skip the line. No worries. Except, don't drink shots of tequila till you're 21. And most of the time they look at me and they go, what? Why? I'm like, just trust me. Okay, do it. Try it. No worries. Go and drink shots of tequila. Here's my phone number. Call me tomorrow and tell me how you wake up. Guarantee you it'll be shithouse. Have we got anything else? If you want a job, go get your responsible service of alcohol certificate and your responsible service of gambling. In New South Wales, you can do a bridging course as soon as you get it to get your Victorian one as well, so then you have both, so then you can work across the border. All you need is to do that course. Costs like, I think it's free now. I think the government's paying for it. If not, it's about $50. The base rate for a food and beverage level attendant 2 in hospitality is now $22.80 an hour, which that's a base rate. So by the time you get casual loading and shift loading and penalty rates, on a Saturday night, you can make $39 an hour working in hospitality. Doesn't have to be in my pub. Restaurants, cafes, bottle shops, anything. It's great when you're at uni to supplement what you're doing and whilst you're studying. And our industry, we are severely understaffed. We need staff. It's a great way to save money because it's like you're part of the party, but you're not having to spend cash. So if any of you would like a job, 0409 177 351, send me a text, send me your name, and I'll be happy to have a chat with you and show you the right way. As a parting gift, thank you so much for your time and for your engagement. I feel like I haven't lost many of the crowd throughout me mindlessly babbling about my dislike for shots of tequila. Thank you to Albury City and to Albury High School for inviting me down to talk to you guys today. As a parting gift, if you are in this room and you want to come to the pub and there's a massive line and there's a cover charge on because we charge on Saturday nights because it's so much fun and we're so popular, please send me a message. Any of you, +1, you want to come to the pub, you don't have to line up, you don't have to pay. Send me a message. I'll be on the front door every Saturday night, including New Year's Eve, and then hopefully I'll get a break in January. So I'll be there every Saturday night from here through to the rest of the year. Please send me a message. I'd love to welcome you guys to the pub, to meet a few of you personally and introduce myself personally, and to ensure that you guys have a great time so you can get out into that real world, learn a little bit about life, and put those 3 things in place: empathy, understanding, and compassion. Thank you. Good luck.